Dear Alessia, 11/29/21. We're up here in the mountains, high lands, and the snow fell for the first time last night in your life. In the other room, I can hear you make your wake-up noises and your mama talking to you in Russian. She brought you in to gather the bouncy chair which calms you down. I came over to say I love you and touch your nose with my nose, and hope to see you break into that morning smile, that rush of happiness that life knows when it knows no trauma and is surrounded by love. When you have a child, you wake up every day in the grace of how simple it could be, how simple it all is. Love and just love. But the world is fallen, so of course the simplicity gets gutted by madness. I always regret my participation in that kind of madness, and we all need a healthy dose of forgiveness for ourselves and each other in these times, I guess at all times. But these aren't normal times. I haven't written much because my head has been so far down the NFT rabbit hole that I feel like my soul or half of it has bled out. I aim to find balance and to be an artist and writer again, to make music again, to come from my heart more than now and then. We came up here last night and there was a party in the new house we're moving to, a community of intellectuals and rebels, the new book by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about Fauci laying around to give you an idea of which way they lean. Although us being welcome there should also give you an idea, I guess. Laughing my ass off. LMAO. We were welcomed with open arms, and some of the musicians talked to me about making music for the coming revolution. I expressed enthusiasm at the idea. The fact that this community found us or we found it is evidence of higher forces working magically through us and for us. Speaking the truth, or your version of it, certainly opens up wild and vital avenues of adventure, but it's not without its costs or limitations. I felt this week enormous sadness for things that have been lost and left behind, and by things I mean people, I mean friendships. Also, things like my podcast and performing, I miss those things. They made my life rich in many ways, and I don't think they are permanently lost, but they are lost for now, and I miss them. I mourn them. We are in a war, and there are a variety of casualties. But what we need to rebuild is a reason, is a passion, is the energy of revolution. And me and your mama have found that in a place far from the city, which seems hell-bent on swallowing itself whole at this point. The governor of New York declared a state of emergency in response to the new variant, and so it would seem another attempt at lockdowns is imminent, coupled with inflation, supplies low in stores, the police department and fire department and healthcare workers and sanitation all gutted from mandates. Oh yeah? And a long and grueling winter fast approaching, or here, means the city is set up to descend into some kind of dark madness. At least that does not seem a paranoid delusion of a forecast. It's hard to fathom it being a happy place to be in the coming months. So thank God we can escape into nature, into a world that's not obsessed by sickness and death and the constant messages of fear. Thank God indeed. Yesterday we woke up and your mama wanted to go to church. Her brother, your Uncle Sam, kept calling us both and telling us to go to church. I would ask your mama, why is he telling us to go to church? She says, because he cares about us or something like that. We both laugh. They are incredible and strange and beautiful people, that side of your family, spiritual and seeking and true. We went to the small church. We walked through our tiny mountain town as a family. I held you close, all bundled up in your multiple winter onesies. It was like something out of Norman Rockwell or something. How funny life is when it winks at you like this. To go from a rock and roll life all the way to this as the world descends into madness. We were on the foothills of an American dream. The sermon was good, all about how we can make you how, I don't know, it's a typo, all about how something can make you turn away from God. The wrong obsession, I guess. The love of money and seeking false idols. And I could relate to it regarding my current obsession with NFTs and the unhealthy aspects of that, like in any addiction, trying to get a hit of good favor. But turning our attention back to Christ, back to love, back to forgiveness, and the motivation to do better, to be a light in our new community and in the world at large, to understand what a gift it is to create art and music, and to shift my focus back to those things as well. Praise Jesus. I opened the news and CNN was blaming the new variant on the unvaccinated, the media stirring up conflict and fear and division. I wonder if people will comply or resist. I wonder what their breaking point will be. When they first rolled out the V's, there was a promise of a return to normal, but obviously that will never come. There is too much benefit in keeping this going from the big money players in the media and pharma and tech. It will take people simply waking up to the fact that their lives have been stripped of love and light through a focus on fear and sickness and division. It will take an awakening that I'm not sure is coming. But what we can do is lead with love and check ourselves, check our own egos, and do the best we can to reflect the grace that still operates in this lunatic world. That's all we could do. Throw light and love into the darkness. What do you think?
Amazing, I love it. Great piece, really well. And I do love even like how like she was adding her.
Oh yeah, it was perfect commentary.
Yeah, exactly.